With the North Node now in the 18th degree of Taurus, we have another lesson to learn, and we have to look at what that is with the Sabian degree of the 18th degree of Taurus. It's a woman holding a bag out of a window. So a woman, the passive principle, holding a bag out of a window, opening up to something, wanting to receive something. It's all about emptying the mind. A mind that is conditioned to make judgments about right and wrong creates a prideful ego that limits the soul's evolution. It must become open and then cleansed of bigotry and prejudice. Also, thought, belief and habit purified through meditation and open-mindedness, clearing the mind of unhelpful attitudes. It's quite important for us to develop a mind with a structure. We mustn't just assume that open-mindedness is the only state of being for a mind. That's just silly. It's not. The mind can focus, and when it focuses, the energy that we have, that we can call upon from around us as well as within us, that leads to an outcome. Focused intent. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be much more than animals. So the ability of the mind to focus clearly on a specific outcome, a specific intention, this is what makes us the most creative species that there is. Whatever else we're doing, whatever other damage we're doing to our environment, we're very creative indeed, very inventive. We're clever as a species, very, very clever indeed. And this depends upon the structure of thought, how you build a mind which is born without anything structured at all, probably with a little bit of conditioning that the South Node brings, and we'll look at that in a minute. But the mind itself needs to be taught how to think. In other words, how to focus mental energy towards a particular understanding. And we can't do that without guidance, without models, without copying someone else. And what we do know about somebody else's opinion is that they're somewhat wrong, because none of us is perfect. So we're given to follow guidance by an imperfect teacher. And this changes the mind. This shapes the mind in a certain way, but in a confused way sometimes, because we're not really taught the same thing by two separate people, ever. We have to distinguish, discriminate, and actually in the end make up our own mind. Make our own mind up. And what we have here in Taurus 18 is the way by which that process can occur. So we start with a concentration of mind, a focused mind, a set of beliefs and opinions and logical structuring and so on. You know, what we were taught or conditioned at school, whichever way you want to see it. And we start there. But actually to move to a level of healthy mind, which I would say has a balance between focus and openness, we have to learn the openness to balance against the focus that we've been conditioned into. Now, opening the mind is what meditation is for. There are other ways in which you can do this, but meditation is the tried and tested, approved method, because we start to distinguish between the gross mind, the monkey mind, that which is so restless it must work things out and think things through and control everything. It's like that. We learn how to rest that, how to give that something to do so that the subtle mind can arise, and that's what meditation teaches us. And so opening the mind will require some practice, some exercise of that type, to let go of the grasping mind's opinions on what is true, what are the facts of the matter, which is a false reading. But it's not easy just to unclasp the mind. It really needs something to grasp. That's its quality. It's a grasping thing. So what we have grasped, and this is what we say when we understand something. Oh, I grasp that understanding. You grasp it. We can't easily ungrasp that. We need to move the mind into another way of being. And that other way of being isn't grasping something else. If we did grasp something else, then we would either further our intelligence or change our opinion or something like that, but it would still give us a closed mindset. So we need to open the mind. Now, holding a bag out of the window is casual, isn't it? You just see what you're going to get. You don't know who's going to come along and put something in the bag, if anybody does anyway. So it's a sense of letting go of controlling what to expect to enter the mind. We're not studying anything in particular. We're not going to college to learn something. It's not the same thing. That's what I was saying earlier about re-grasping something else. What we are doing is unfolded from the platform of the South Node, which is in Scorpio 18, of course. Woods rich in autumn colouring, self-transformation. The cyclical nature of life is imposing. It gives us no choice about whether winter is coming or not. Yet for the free, realized being, even this is a choice. The self-determined creative mind grasps what an imprisoned mind cannot. When we look out through our eyes, we see nothing more or less than the prison we have constructed out of our repetitive expectations. The realized mind is free to change its expectations. So here we have Scorpio grasping something, which Scorpio likes to do. Scorpio is very dedicated to control, and that's the South Node. And here we have Taurus, which is much more laid back and flowing with things. It's in its essential nature to be quite relaxed. It wants to relax the mind. So we have the nodal axis now really emphasizing two principles, Sabian principles, which tie up with the North Node and the South Node very well indeed. The South Node is that which holds us into a pattern of easiness. We are very skillful at doing whatever the South Node indicates. In this case, the South Node grasps things and goes through a process of self-transformation by doing so. It's not negative, it's the other side of the coin. So the coming of autumn is that which leads to winter and then spring. It's a time to rest. And if you grasp that wisdom, then you get the benefits of the process of winter, which is therefore not a negative thing. And this Scorpio wisdom of seeing beneath the surface and grasping hidden wisdom is the foundation for the Taurus wisdom here of being open to what might then come. So we have a training of the mind going on during this period, a few weeks until the North Node moves on. And so during this time, it's a good idea for us to check out what it is that we believe, how we are structuring our thoughts, and whether or not actually some of that is, how do we say, bigoted or caught up in a self-diminishing attitude of behavior, a habit that does us no good. a relationship that's really not furthering our agenda. We can look at our life and notice that each of the things that we're habituated to, each of the relationships, whether it's to the boss or the husband or the children, or one of our relationships, have as their foundation a belief, an opinion, an attitude of being that's grasped, we hold on to, because that's familiar and we know that, and we think that that's the truth. We make that up as the truth. We've made up our minds to see that as the only way to see things, and it's just not. You can see things howsoever you want to see them. But in order to open your mind, you have to put the empty bag out the window. You have to meet new people, to travel, to read new books, to have conversations and see the other point of view, and then open your mind to possibilities which previously you just wouldn't entertain. You wouldn't allow them to be true. But there are lots of things that are true that you dismiss as false. And it's time now to change some of those. When the North Node is going through the 18th degree of Taurus, this is a time for you to change your mind away from its grasping fixity towards considering other possibilities.